Dad said, in running a business, Dad said, never hire friends and family, right? So that's why my wife doesn't work for me. But I separate business and pleasure. And then number two, he also said the most important part in sales is getting in the door. And this is where I'm the ultimate point I'm getting to. He would say half the battle was won, and he sold chemicals to like Pilgrim's Pride, big slaughterhouses, food manufacturers, right? His product was a disinfectant plus consulting to get rid of these, like, y'all don't want listeria in your food, let's put it that way. And Dad's job was to go in there and like get rid of it, right? And so it was a relationship business. There was always incumbents, and you just had to always follow up with these people to get in. And as soon as they screwed up, you're in. And if you could just get in, you got a pretty good shot at getting the business, right? So the point is, you have to be good on the phone. And that was Dad's point. Getting good on the phone, getting in the door is everything. So as a new agent, this is where you need to spend all of your time. Well, 75% of your time, at least 50, if not 75% of your time. Getting good at the opening, saying it with confidence and competence, going through the objections that will happen and being good at rebutting them. Okay. This is if you're telesales. I would be practicing this dozens, if not hundreds of times in that 15 to 20 day onboarding process. Okay. Get somebody in one of these groups that meet on Thursdays, or someone in the school group to play with you, play prospect back and forth with you. Okay. Get the opportunity to practice and trial run this stuff so you can get some kind of experience ahead of time. If you're doing face-to-face or over the phone or face-to-face, then the same thing applies for door knocking as well as appointment setting. Again, if you get good at this stuff, by the time you pick the phone up and you've heard all this stuff before and you have this kind of sense of expectation, you know what's going to happen, like life's a lot easier. Okay. Because if you can just get in here's what I hear from experienced agents. You know what experienced agents' number one problem is? It's always this. If I can just get in front of them, I'll make money. Like my problem, I don't have enough people to talk to. That's like almost always the problem I hear from anybody that has any experience. They like the business, but they know they're not getting the most out of it. Part of that equation certainly is the getting enough leads and the right leads. The other part of that is getting good at the opening to get into the presentation. Okay. So as a new agent, you should spend your time doing that. The rest of your time from a sales training standpoint should be spent on the pre-qualifying stage, right? So if you go back and listen to what we talked about in the first call, the biggest reason why JR didn't get the close was he never hooked the prospect in. The client was only surface level interested, but wasn't drawn magnetically to buying today. And that difference comes through the questioning we ask in order to get the person developing urgency, if there is any. Sometimes there's none, right? But we didn't do enough to see and test if that was possible with this prospect. So she hung up. And it wasn't because of where the hang up occurred in that particular moment that JR did anything wrong. It was the stuff not said, the opportunities passed up, the questions in the pre-qualifying stage not asked. So you need to spend a lot of time, most of the rest of your time, asking those questions, developing good habits on follow-up questions, learning to back the hearse up, figuratively speaking, so your clients see the urgency to buy today. Now, pre-qualifying. Spend that time doing that. Very important. Okay. The rest of your time, when it comes to carrier training, an agent asked me this, like, we're overwhelmed by the carrier choices. There's a reason we only start with 5. And to me, 5 is really too many. But the 5 that we recommend agents to start with are pretty all-inclusive for the major conditions and are easier to use from an application standpoint. But if you feel overwhelmed by the 5, pick 3. Then the solution is to remove a couple that you really don't need. Okay. So that's what I would recommend there. Now, for those carriers you're focusing on, and again, you can do 5 if you feel comfortable with it. But either way, the number one thing you need to focus on with carrier, please spend time to learn how to submit an application. I repeat, don't go into your first sales call and not even know how to submit an app. It's bad. It's real bad. You will there's nothing more painful. Now it's painful to call a prospect and they reject you and you're like, man, that sucked. It's even worse when you get to the end of the call and they've got their checkbook right up to your eyeballs and you're just about to snatch it and they grab it back and hang up on you or walk away, figuratively or virtually or real, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Just know the application, because you can lose people in that process really simply. Okay. Where do you find out about that? On the cheat sheet. Go to the cheat sheet, make sure that you review the video or the written material to complete the application. Very important. Okay. And that's like the bulk of it. Okay. Yeah. Do mocks as well, mock presentations, practice with your dog, practice with your wife, your spouse, practice with other agents on these calls that we do, guys. Like all of just, you need to get some traction.